Hey everyone, it is I, Sir Review. Sorry I haven't been able to do a lot of, I didn't post anything, last weekend. Well, that was because I was, going to homecoming for my school. It was really fun, but I was unable to get any videos in because of all the, homecoming stuff and, all the, preparing for that. So I'm terribly sorry. So in order to make up for that, I will be uploading two videos today. This one and then another video. And almost all the videos I'm going to be posting throughout the month are going to be Halloween based movies, like scary movies. And there might be a review in early November where it'll be another horror film just to, add in that extra horror thing. But so I'm gonna today talk about a new film called Cult of Chucky, and I don't know if this is a Netflix exclusive because I never heard of it, and I never heard it come into theaters or anything, and I watched it on Netflix, so I don't know if it's a Netflix exclusive. I'm pretty sure it might be. So I watched it, and I went into it thinking, okay, this is gonna be another one of those over the top Netflix horror films that's just trying to take itself too seriously and trying to be like over the top but at the same time super serious. And I ended watching it with saying to myself, this wasn't that bad. My friend Caleb told me to watch it because he thought it was actually not that bad. He thought it was pretty cool. And I have to admit, I don't think I would say it's as good as he was telling me, but it was quite better than I was expecting. So I'm not going to talk about the entire storyline because I want you guys to experience this for yourselves. Because this isn't a film where the story is basically simple. The character from the previous film, Curse of Chucky, her name is Nina, I think that's her name, or Nika. I can't remember her name, but she's in a mental institute because she was blamed for killing her family when it was of course Chucky. And that was the plot of the previous film. And the thing is, she's put in this mental institute, and people are calling her crazy because apparently they say she is, and she kind of acts like she's crazy too. So it makes you wonder, what if Chucky's not only real, but she's also crazy and trying to like stop him in the most insane ways possible? Because they're trying to prove to her that Chucky is just a simple doll by actually, bringing in several Chucky dolls and like showing them to her, trying to prove it to her, and she does not approve of this. Some of the patients in the institute are trying to are teasing her or like trying to get away from her, trying to get her like taken out of that place because they're afraid to be around her. And overall, it's pretty cool. And Chucky himself is a pretty good character. I've always thought Chucky as this over the top doll, but at the same time very horrifying and very funny. And he did a good job in this one. I did enjoy some of the characters, although I have to be frank here, some of the characters were a little stereotypical. Like there's one character, he's all super macho and all that stuff, and just a complete I hate to use this word, but he's a complete douchebag. He's mean, he says whatever he wants. It's just your stereotypical douchebag. But then there are other characters who are pretty cool. Of course, they get axed off. I'm not going to go deep into specifics of the characters because I want you to see who makes it out and who doesn't and how they die. The deaths are pretty cool. The graphics and gore are very well done. And all in all, the cast choice was alright. I wasn't a huge fan of several of the characters and several of the casting decisions. Like one character, he's like the big warden of the place. I don't know what you call wardens in a mental institute, but he's basically just this messed up dude. There's one point where he's trying to manipulate Nika to try and do something for him that's kind of inappropriate, and Chucky knocks him out with a bottle glass for the second time, and he's like, sheesh, I just can't with this guy. I don't know whether to just kill him or take notes. And I was thinking to myself, I understand. This is just gold right there. That was just gold. So I'm gonna talk about the things I liked about the film. The first thing I liked was the setup. The setup was really well placed. It moved along smoothly throughout the beginning of the film. The second thing I liked was the setting. The setting was really good. It had that kind of light-hearted feel, but also at the same time you feel very disturbed. It's almost like the Joker. You laugh, but at the same time you're disturbed. For this, you feel happy, but at the same time you feel kind of scared. There's the there's another thing I like about the film is the main character. Her development throughout the entire thing, where there's even a point where she tries to kill herself in order to prevent Chucky from killing her, but instead he's not trying to kill her like he did in the previous film, and he actually stitches up her wrist cut and actually writes in her blood on the floor. He writes "not so fast" because you then realize he's planning something big, and they have multiple dolls come in, and he takes possession of every single one. And one of the cooler things I like about the film, and I think the main thing I like about the film, and my friend Kayla pointed this out to me too, and I have to say this, it's not trying to take itself too seriously. You could tell it's meant to be kind of a cheesy flick. It's meant to be, just this run-of-the-mill, cliched horror film that's not to be taken too seriously, and it knows it's not going to break any records or get any awards or anything like that. It's just trying to just be this film like, hey, here's a horror film, I hope you enjoy it. We're not asking too much here. They're not trying too hard. They're just putting it out there and just leaving it at that. And I like that about films like this, because there are some films where like some of the previous films with Chucky, you could tell they were trying to take it too seriously, and it clearly backfired. With films like this one and its previous film, The Curse of Chucky, they're not trying to have you take it, too seriously. I mean, sure, the original one had too much of that Annabelle feel, where there's something wrong with the doll, but it takes that Annabelle feel where there's always this slight jump scare, and there's always this roaming around the dark house. It's just weird. Now moving on to the things I don't like about the film. Unfortunately, there are some things I don't really like about the film. Number one, the build up to Chucky actually, leading up to him. I honestly just thought it was just anticlimactic, having him, come out and kill all these mental patients before having him possess all these other dolls. I just think I think personally, it would have been better if they actually waited for all the dolls to finally be possessed, and each doll chooses his own specific target, and they each, take out the targets and leave Nika all by herself. And they bring Andy back from the original Child's Play film, which is pretty cool, and he's trying to stop the dolls. And another thing I don't like about the film, unfortunately, is several of the casting choices. I mean, don't get me wrong, the main character is cool. Some of the other side characters who get killed off are actually, pretty cool. But the two characters I honestly am not a huge fan of are, first of all, the warden guy. He's not cliched, but he's just messed up. I know what they're trying to go for, having, of course, the mental ward be crazy himself, but they just that's the one thing in this film they took too seriously. They're trying to say this guy has issues, and they're trying to shove it down your throat, and I don't like that. Another character I honestly am not a huge fan of is Tiffany. I think that's her name, Tiffany. I don't know her name. Her last name is Valentine, and she's basically Chucky's girlfriend when he was still alive. She's, of course, Harley Quinn levels of crazy, but 10 times that. And she's her character is over the top as usual, but you could tell she's also meant to be taken kind of seriously. I mean, the film itself wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but these two characters kind of were, and you could feel that about them. Yet again, it's not that bad because it kind of does add to the story that they're trying to, portray. But all in all, it wasn't all that bad. And secondly, the ending. The third thing I disliked about the film was the ending. Unfortunately, I know this was meant to be a cliffhanger thing, they're trying to build up for its sequel. But here's the thing, what if there is no sequel? And this is just how they leave it off. It's kind of weird, and I don't want to spoil it, because this is a spoiler-free review. Some of my other reviews this month will have spoilers, just so you know. But this one won't, because I just don't feel like it's worth spoiling. But I'm gonna say the ending was climactic. I'll give it that. But it was just it moved so slow. It moved so slow. It was necessarily long. It was just you could have just cut it short and leave it from there. And like having this whole ordeal go on and like leaving you on a cliffhanger thing where like, so is the cult finally finished, or are they trying to find new people to add to the cult of Chucky? I honestly don't know, and they didn't really give deep into details of like, hey, but there's definitely going to be a sequel, because you never know. You just don't know, because this film was not released into theaters as far as I'm aware, and unfortunately, this might be the last film we see Chucky in, which sucks, because I think Chucky is a very cool antagonist for a horror film, and he's like one of my favorite horror film villains of all time. So anyway, guys, that was my review, and my final verdict for this film was higher than I was expecting. I was expecting to give it a 4 out of 4 stars, but instead I'm giving it 6 stars. It's pretty good. The climax is good. The story was all right. The ending was sloppy though. Some of the characters were just cliched, or just there to die, or just stereotypes who were just complete jerks. And sorry for the delay in the videos. I'll put up my another video up here tonight. It will be a very late video because I'm actually getting ready to watch the film right now. It's Alien vs. Predator, and I know it's not necessarily a horror film. It has some horror aspects to it, I'll give it that, but it's not entirely a horror film. It's just a film that I want to review and just put that review out there because it's just a film I feel like I want to review right now. So I'm getting ready to go watch that. I'll see you guys around, and be sure to subscribe, tell your friends, and that's it. Peace out.